Hello, everyone. It's Susie, Crypto Granny here. The date's the 11th of the 4th, 2023, and the time in Europe is 16:10. I thought I'd do, rather than just the podcast, I thought I'd do a video of the podcast because quite a few graphs I want to show you from Twitter. And I love Twitter. It's fantastic and really shows you a lot about what's going on in the world, and certainly in the world of the US in terms of economic data, which I think is extremely, extremely poor. And this is, in my view, why the cryptocurrency market is rallying quite a lot. There's many other factors as well, but there's so many things to look at in a day. We can only focus on the main things in terms of what's driving markets, in terms of fiat markets as well as cryptocurrency markets, and also what we own in our portfolios and what are some of the opportunities to get into in terms of cryptocurrency coins rather than tokens. Now, let's start with live coin watch as we normally do. Market cap is 1.264 trill, is moving up. Volume's moving up higher, 44.284 bill. Liquidity is very good at just over 5 bill. And Bitcoin dominance is 46.32%. This Bitcoin dominance is very important. It's maintained from 44 to about 46% in the last month or two. It tells us there's a shortage of Bitcoin on the exchanges. The exchanges are running out of Bitcoin. And in that environment, you cannot sell Bitcoin. It'd have to be crazy. There's not much Bitcoin left. There's a lot of loss in Bitcoin. So people have lost about a million coins, and there's no Bitcoin left. And this is why we've got the dominance moving as high as this clearly. Now, at the moment, Bitcoin's at 32.40, Ethereum 19.23, US Tether's just off one dollar at 999.999. Binance is breaking through the 331 level. They've been trying to sell this for ages. I will do a technical video today because I think it's going to be very bullish. Indeed, USDC is 0.9979, XRP 0.522, ADA 0.40, Dodge 0.85, Matic $1.13, and OatB 42.89. So let's go to the main news today, and the reason why I want to show you on video today. We know that according to Crypto Compare, Bitcoin got up to 30380. It's very near that high at the moment, and I believe it will go higher. The low was 28,197. There was quite a bit of volume done as well. A lot of units of Bitcoin have been taken off all the major exchanges, and people are holding their wallets, and they've been holding them in their wallets under self-custody for quite a long time, okay? This is why I'm so bullish Bitcoin. I believe Bitcoin will take out its high, which is around 64,000 odd, and I think it will end up way over 100,000 this year. I think we're going to see the mega of all rallies. Now, I was on Twitter about 3 months ago, and people saying, oh, I sell Bitcoin at 16,000, 17,000. It was at 18,000. I was indifferent to whether I bought it at 16,000 or 18,000. I believe Bitcoin will go much higher this year, and you've got to be crazy selling Bitcoin, okay? Absolutely crazy. Now, another positive indicator is we look at the futures of Bitcoin. They're showing 30360. So the curve is in contango, which means that the futures curve is higher than the spot curve of Bitcoin. And that's very, very bullish, okay? Ultra bullish. And we monitor that margin as well. So physical Bitcoin's around 3280, and futures of Bitcoin, which is the next futures contract, is 30,360, which is June expiry, okay? Yes, there's time value of money in there, but we won't go into that. Also, if you look at Ethereum, you don't find it's as bullish on Ethereum with the futures and the physical. Ethereum's at 1990 on the physical, and the futures are 1922. But there's a lot going on in the economic environment that I want to talk to you about, and also some of the main news stories overnight as well. Now, clearly, total liquidations were up 31 odd thousand, nearly 32,000 traders got liquidated. They're all running short, and they're completely mad as far as I'm concerned. You do not sell Bitcoin when there's no supply, okay? Absolutely. And being short things like CFX, which are an incredible story, one of my favorite coins at the moment, which will go a lot higher. I believe CFX could easily get through $1, easily. Litecoin, another one, the halving's coming up this year in August. Why would you be selling Litecoin? You got to be crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. Plus XRP and Solana, people are nuts. Why would you sell those? It's just madness. You don't sell anything, right? This market is going to go for a massive mega rally this year. Mega. And I'll tell you why, right? A lot of the economic data in the US is appalling, right? Manufacturing activity is the lowest it's been since March 2020. Americans have stashed a lot of money away because they're not spending. They're worried about everything. They're losing their jobs. Technology jobs are lost everywhere at the moment. It's getting worse and worse. Banks, there's a lot of credit card delinquency. It's at all-time highs. The credit markets have got very tight. No lending out from banks. It's a shocker. Again, it's harder to get money out of the banks, because they're so compliant and they're scared of taking on more risk. The unemployment is increasing dramatically, and there's a big difference between skilled versus unskilled workers, okay? And again, the Feds keep wanting to raise rates, and they're crazy, okay? They're absolutely mad because the economic environment in the US, like everywhere else in Australia and everywhere else, is appalling. And I don't know what figures they're looking at. The Fed must be on drugs. That's all I can say, right? And I'm a big believer they are on drugs, Fed income. Now, a number of stories which are very, very bullish for crypto, okay? There was Bitcoin price ticket, which goes live on the Chinese Yuan app. And this Yuan app is the Chinese version of TikTok. This is huge, right? They have 700 million daily active users out of 1.4 billion people. And I monitor Justin Sun all the time. And he actually said, this is on the app and this is big. And he's right about this. Also, the Hong Kong situation is huge, okay? A lot of banks from China are going into Hong Kong and they're opening doors up to cryptocurrency, okay? It's very, very clear. They want to be a part of the whole web thing. Hong Kong is huge. They want to be the king of Web3 in that Asian country, and they are doing the right thing. There's been lots of forums and lots of things going on in Hong Kong, and they are very, very supportive of Web3 and cryptocurrency technology. They want to be innovative. They want to get ahead with proper regulation and promoting development. They want, everything to grow and, ensuring financial security for people. Now, it's very easy for the Chinese to go into Hong Kong and open up bank accounts and crypto accounts. It's huge, right? Hong Kong had a Web3 festival and got many, many people in there, right? Now, another thing too, when we look at the US situation, it is appalling, okay? Lending has dropped by record amounts. Money is going back to the Fed because some of the US banks are too scared to keep it with the regional or retail banks. And the Fed is offering 4.9% on reverse repo, and they're offering higher rates than some of the US banks, which is just nonsensical, right? At one hand, they're raising rates, and yet the other time, they're sucking money out of the system via this mechanism of reverse repo. And then also they're plowing money into the system when, three banks, actually carked it, and the UBS scenario with Credit Suisse, right? UBS took over Credit Suisse and they had to be bailed out by the Switzerland government, right? So we've seen Silvergate Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank all hit the dust, and yet the Fed is just crazy, right? They've bought in this deposit insurance thing, but they're still bailing people out, and this contagion will continue. And certainly Elon Musk and Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan are saying the same thing, and I believe them. When you look at the data, it's appalling, okay? Lending has dropped, literally off the cliff, okay? By a record 104 billion, it's dropped off the cliff, right? No one's prepared to take any risk whatsoever. And this contraction is the worst they've ever seen since 1973, okay? This is big, right? They don't want to lend out commercial, industrial and real estate loans. And you can see when you look at their balance sheets that a lot of these banks are full up on commercial real estate. And if you know what's happening in commercial real estate, prices are coming off, over a cliff. They're going down, 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 down. I mean, we're even getting Twitter feeds from people looking to sell their properties. I mean, from the US, and we're in the Netherlands. It's just crazy, right? The property market in the US is coming down fast. It's coming down in New Zealand fast, Australia, the UK, and everywhere else, except for a couple of small places like Bodrum in Turkey, which is flying. It's going higher and higher. So, this is a bit scary, right? This is very, very scary. Trillions of dollars are draining out of the banks into money market funds with the Fed, and yet this is going to accelerate. And I believe Elon Musk, this will accelerate, right? People have no faith in the banking system in the US. They don't have any faith in the Fed. And this recession, I believe, will be severe, 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 and they will need to slash their funds rate, federal funds rate, right, the cash rate. They have hiked too quickly, too fast, and it's killing people, right? Absolutely killing people. If we have a look at this, and this is from Twitter, and I love Twitter. Charlie Bellio, thank you, Charlie, said the interest rate on US credit card balances has crossed 20%. This is higher than 1994, right? This has gone up. The rates a year ago, as he says, were 5.5%. And now we're looking at interest rates over 20% on a credit card. And we know a lot of US people rely on their credit cards, right? If you look at this chart going back to 2000, right? Interest rates were over, 16%, and then they came down to about 12. The low was 11.82%. And now suddenly from here, quarter 16 to 2023, we've seen interest rates well over 20%. It is a shocker. If we look at, again, hedge funds, they're totally short the US equity market because they're very worried about banking, which tells you where the money's going, right? People are short the US equity market going to money market funds. If we look at the tightening in US small business credit availability from Viraj Patel, thank you very much, it's the worst they've ever seen, okay? What is the Fed looking at? Seriously, this is the second biggest on record for contraction of credit availability to small businesses in the US, right? It's nearly down to -9. It is a shocker, and you got to tell me that. This was since 2002, and this is why banks are failing in the US. They've got no availability of credit or small businesses, right? If we look at the T-bill yield, the 3-month T-bill, it's at 496, right? 496. We go back to 2007-8, the 3-month yield on a T-bill was 5%, and we've got this situation, and it's gone up dramatically. People from here, literally at 0% in 2022, and now suddenly it's at 5%. I mean, this is absolute nuts, right? There's a bigger picture of it, but this is just crazy, right? Financial markets cannot withstand rising of rates this quickly, okay? Many banks are sitting on bond losses because they bought bonds, when, interest rates were much lower. Now interest rates are much higher. They're sitting on massive losses as well. If we look at Bitcoin, we see Bitcoin is starting to decouple from other financial markets. And also, don't forget, Bitcoin will halve in 2024, okay? And that will just drive this price higher and higher. As far as I'm concerned, everything I'm looking at tells me Bitcoin's going to go higher and higher. Another thing, I'm very negative the US dollar, extremely negative the US dollar, okay? As Holger Shepat said, US dollar fell to 58.4% of known 4Q global reserves. Now, we know the Chinese and the Russians are buying gold, okay? And they want to create their own digital currency in their own currency, yuan or ruble. This is the lowest since 1994, right? We're going to see the US dollar massively underperform, and I want to buy a put on the US dollar because it's going to massively underperform this year, right? It's also got to do with all the argy-bargy between the US and Russia and China. But the thing is, no one's buying US dollars, right? And we can see it here. The euro is going up and the US is going down. It's a shocker, right? Global reserves are the lowest they've been since 1995, and it will continue. This theme will continue. Now, if we look at Bitcoin on a weekly chart, excuse me, the high was about 64,000. There was a double top there. Clearly, we had a downward channel, big one here, but it's broken this level, right? At 16.5, where people were trying to tell me to sell. I just said, no way, I'm buying, and I did. And I got flack on Twitter because they think that I'm a dickhead, but they think they know more than I do, but obviously they don't because I've been in markets for 40 years, right? I mean, the target for Bitcoin, is about 33,500. The next one's about 47. And then there's all clear sky here. And this thing, I am convinced, will break 64,000 this year, okay? Because interest rates are way too high, right? If we look at, excuse me, if we look at a 10-year bond against a 3-year curve, we've got this situation negative, right? This tells you a massive recession is coming, okay? Massive recession. It's unsustainable, okay? Where you have the short end so high in terms of yield at 5%, and a 10-year yield around 3.43%, and then you've got a difference of negative 1.67%. This tells a massive recession is coming, okay? And the yield curve never lies, people. It never lies. It is really bad. If you look at the Australian rental market, rents have gone ballistic in the year. Sydney's rents are up 37%, Melbourne 29%, Brisbane 22%, Adelaide, Perth, Hobart, whatever. People are selling their rental property in Australia, and rental property is being taken away from the market, okay? There's a lot of selling of property in Australia because a lot of Australians have a lot of debt against property, okay? Also, a lot of people putting property into their super fund in 2007 because there was a cap on the super fund of 25,000, and the treasurer at the time, Peter Costello, said to people, you can put in $1,000. Most people bought property against leverage, okay? Now, what's happened is they want to change the negative interest rate ruling, where you buy a second property, you can get it all tax deductible against your income. And if that changes, and they're also looking at changing, the capital gains and super, it's going to be a disaster, right? We're going to continue to see Australian property fall, and rent squeeze. And it's not surprising, because when you look at the amount of students coming into Australia in the last quarter, it's been 250,000, okay? We get them from China and all over the world. And it's no wonder rent already this year is up 30% or more. The vacancy rate is atrocious, 0.9, which means there's no vacancy at all for rental property. It means literally non-existent. Melbourne 1.1, which is that vacancy rate should be at least 10%, but it's non-existent, okay? It's a shocker, really, really bad. That's just some notable airdrops in crypto, which you can quickly look at. But, this is a shocker, right? If we look at US bank exposure to commercial real estate, it's been getting higher and higher. January 2006 to 2022 and higher. It's massive. It's in the trillions, right? We've got small banks there, right? Small banks, which is the dark blue, and big banks, which is even higher than that again. Now, commercial property is falling off a cliff, right, in the US, and the banks are seriously, seriously worried, okay? Not only are they sitting on bond losses, they're sitting on commercial real estate property losses, right? And this could tip all the banks over. And we have a contagion, where one bank falls over, another one falls over, another company falls over. And yet the stupid Fed keep raising interest rates. It is just nuts to try and get inflation down at 2%. They have to be aware that inflation is a long-term thing now. Next 10 years, inflation's running at 20%. And this is why gold is going higher. It got through $2,000 an ounce. And the fact is the Chinese are right, and the government, Russians are right. They're buying gold because they may want to use the gold as a gold stand against the digital currency, okay? And everything I read is just telling me a massive, massive rally is coming from Asia, cryptocurrency, specific cryptocurrency, as this Chinese TikTok, which is called whatever it was called before, Douyin, right? It's massive. Swooshie recovered their money, big deal. So, this is going to go on, right? Now, also behind this, there's the Ripple saga. But in saying that, Warren Buffett Hathaway increased his stake in Sumitomo Corporation, which, is a big supporter of XRP. So I thought that was quite interesting. He also has money in Nubank, which is basically a cryptocurrency digital bank. So interesting, he does have exposure to cryptocurrency through these investments. And a lot of banks and fund managers also have exposure to MicroStrategy and those companies that have Bitcoin. MicroStrategy bought more Bitcoin the other day, 130,000 units, and they're now in profit, which is a great story for them. Also, we've seen XRP's whales scoop up 150 million of XRP. We're finding Upbit and another exchange in Korea buying millions and millions of XRP. They love XRP. XRPL has announced a new hook proposal. Crypto wells seem to pick in pace, accumulating more XRP. Doesn't surprise me, guys and girls. Doesn't surprise me. They're buying more and more XRP. Also, they are very bullish that they will win against the SEC. John Deaton's been out there saying the SEC hasn't got a clue. They don't know, the Howey test doesn't fit XRP. It's not a contract or investment contract. You just can't have a buy and not a sell. he believes that if the judge understands the technology of XRP and RippleNet, XRPL and RippleNet, then it'll be very, very significant, right? And that's why the judge is taking so long, because they need to understand the technology, okay, of RippleNet and XRP Ledger, not like silly Gary Gensler, who hasn't got a clue in my mind, right? And this is going to be very interesting because there's actions against Coinbase, Ripple, plus the owners and the founders of both, plus Justin Sun. I think they'll fight them all the way. Seriously, let me just have a glass of water. Excuse me. That's better. Also, Ripple came out and said they've joined hands with Central Bank of Montenegro to build a pilot program for, central bank digital currency. Now, that's great. Ripple have been doing this for other countries, and they want to work with the government so they can create a practical digital currency with, security and advantages of blockchain technology and functionality. And that doesn't surprise, because RippleNet is the best for this, no doubt, okay? So, this is, the fellow from the vice president of the Central Bank of Montenegro, basically said Ripple's a proven track record of successfully connecting disparate payment systems and championing blockchain utility to issue central bank digital currencies and solve for global payments to hundreds of financial institutions around the world. Ripple have millions and millions of clients. We are pleased that we have chosen Ripple to launch our first digital currency and further address the country's core financial objectives. A great story for Ripple, actually, a great story. They're going to use Ripple and XRP, and I think it's a fantastic story for them. And, Ripple have got other central banks as well, what is it, the city of Palu and that sort of thing. So they're absolutely committed to the Ripple system. Also, what else came out? This lawsuit, again, we're waiting to hear from the judge, and the judge needs to understand, the technology of RippleNet and how it does not apply to the Howey test, okay? John Deaton, who's the attorney for Ripple, has been out there saying that, he stated that Ripple, said that a contract, to be an investment contract, you need a buy and a sell, and that's very clear, right? It doesn't fit into the Howey test at all, the four components of the Howey test. And I believe that the SEC are just wrong, okay? If Judge Torres understands the decentralized nature of Web3, as Jeremy Hogan said, this would determine whether there was a contract between Ripple and the XRP buyers. It said it doesn't apply to the Howey test. And the Howey test, again, defines four facts of a security: the investment in money, investment in common enterprise with the expectation of profit. What's the other one? In a common enterprise, investment in money with the expectation of profit. And again, it doesn't fit the Howey test. It's not a formal contract because there was no sell on that, right? And it was a part of the RippleNet. XRP was a part of RippleNet. So clearly, Judge Torres needs to understand the technology of Ripple. And once she does, I'm sure she'll come up with the right decision. That's my feeling on it. I cannot believe they will regard XRP as a security when they're not even looking at the technology. Also, the decentralized nature of Ripple, which has more than 1,000 independent nodes, which is decentralized, okay? So, we just have to wait and see what happens there. Now, Polkadot came out and they're partnered with a $1 billion company called Axel Springer Partners Kilt Protocol. And I don't know who this company is, but, it's good for them. It looks at decentralizing identity management, and it's a German digital media giant, has developed a new service based on Kilt open source based blockchain protocol. And this is to do with identity management, which certainly we all need, decentralized identity management. How many times have we gone somewhere overseas or whatever, and we've had to identify ourselves with our passport and all this in our documentations? All this stuff should be on blockchain, right? Everything should be on blockchain. It's about owning your own data and managing your own identity in a decentralized manner, which means people can't steal your identity, okay? I think this is a great story, right? A great story. They did say, we believe that identity protection is critical for users and believe that decentralized identities will become more relevant in the future. Absolutely. We're going to make developments in this area. It's a prototype for wallet creation, decentralized logins, and we own our own information. And I think it's fantastic. They are building this on Polkadot. Polkadot is one of the best blockchains out there. The price is extremely cheap at $6.40. They have interoperability between other blockchain networks. They're totally decentralized. The coin is cheap and are regarded as a blue chip. It should be higher than where it is, seriously. Now, Ethereum, as you know, they're going through their hard fork on the 12th, and they're moving to proof of stake from proof of work, okay? It's called the Shanghai Capella, God, where do they get these names from? Chapella upgrade. It's happening tomorrow. Investors are speculating that Ethereum price might fall because with this, there's a lot of staking on for Ethereum on POW, proof of work. And once they get a POS, some of this staking is going to come out and be active on the market, right, where people can actually sell some of this staking, okay? According to this article, over 18.14 million of Ethereum worth 34.76 billion has been staked on Beacon chain as per the Ethereum Beacon deposit contract. And this, could come to the market, a portion of this, and actually, obviously reduce the price of Ethereum. Also, there's a risk if the proof of stake doesn't do well, then the market could sell Ethereum. Now, I like Bitcoin over and above Ethereum because Ethereum used to, it would literally every new ICO on there, people would have to buy Ethereum coin, and they never knew their supply. Even the developers didn't know the supply of Ethereum. So we know the supply of Bitcoin. We know there's a minimum supply in a world of 8 billion people, and there's only 21 million of Bitcoin, and minus 2 or 3 million that's lost. To me, buying Bitcoin is a no-brainer over Ethereum. And I also believe Binance should be higher than Ethereum. I think Ethereum is too expensive for what it is. And I think it's going to have an early demise. I think in the next year or two, you won't see Ethereum as the top two, one of the top two. I don't believe that, right? So it looks like, these staking pools are going to be opened up, and, Ethereum will be let go onto the market. And yes, it could depress the price, okay, of Ethereum. There's no doubt about that. So we'll have to see how that trading goes. Also, Binance came out and Binance Greenfield hits testnet, decentralized storage coming to Binance chain, which is great for them. Binance is a meganaut. Honestly, the price of Binance should not be at $330. Honestly, Binance should be at least $2,000 a coin. Seriously, they are incredible. They are the market. They are doing so much globally everywhere. They should be higher than Ethereum. And I'm on record for saying this a year ago. I'll say it again. They should be higher than Ethereum in price, okay? They are a meganaut, right? They've integrated their decentralized solutions after testing it, which began on April the 10th. Don't forget, they're upgrading their systems on the 12th. This Binance is a meganaut, and they should be a lot higher in price than where they are, okay? They have, they have all sorts of things on their system: DeFi, NFTs, games, fan tokens, you name it, lots and lots of things, okay? It's a mega system. And they're even looking at external dApps and all sorts of things, Binance University, you name it. Binance is a meganaut, and it's just too cheap. They call it the Congo testnet. Developers will be able to choose to store data anywhere from decentralized terminals to centralized services, while validators will be instrumental in shaping the future of data ownership and utility in Web3. They have 1,400 active dApps and 200 million unique addresses across the Binance chain. I mean, this is mega. Binance, honestly, is too cheap at the moment. And, don't forget, Changpeng Zhao said 2 years ago they were going to burn about 80 million units of Binance, and because they were being held by himself and also some of his employees. And they said a long time ago they wanted 100 million units of Binance and no more. And I think that there's about 155 million units of Binance still in circulation, right? So, it may be less than that, but they're actually holding it in private wallet, I should say. So, that will happen. And when that does, Binance will go through the roof. Don't forget, 2 years ago, Binance was trading at $700, okay? $700. Now, Gate.io has confirmed that it's got a license for Hong Kong. This is big news for them, okay? Huge. All the action is going to be in Hong Kong, people. Everyone's moving to Hong Kong. OKEX, Gate, UB, you name it, Colonial everyone, right? It wouldn't even surprise me if Ripple move out of the States simply because there's tax issues that are coming up, which are not great for people that are in research and development. It's better to get tax, to be in another tax-paying country. Also, all the high net worths that are coming to Hong Kong from China and Singapore, the Chinese are moving to Singapore and Hong Kong, are all getting into crypto. This is going to be huge. Subsequently, Gate.io has launched a Gate Wealth for the high net worth, okay? The service aim to deliver tailored wealth management options to cryptocurrency investors worldwide, but also for the high net worth of China, which is about 500 million people, okay? This is big news. And this is why I watch Justin Sun all the time, okay? He knows what he's talking about, right? Absolutely. We see Google searches are increasing for both Crypto.com and Gate.io, which are both in Hong Kong, and trading volumes increase also, right? It's big news, seriously, big news. Hong Kong chief executive said Hong Kong should be the leader in Web3 technology, and I believe that, okay? Executive John Lee expressed this. Web3 is crucial for the development of financial technology. The government issued a virtual asset policy statement at the end of last year indicating an open attitude. Hong Kong will become the hub of cryptocurrency technology and Web3. And you can see where it's going. And the US are just way behind the curve, where you've got Gary Gensler, scratching his head and, getting more and more compliance people. People will just move out of the US, right? And the action will be in Asia, right? Another reason, we were invested in CFX at 13 cents. This thing could go, this coin could go to $2, $3 easy. It has its own mainnet. It's regulatory compliant in China. They accept it. The platform is unbelievable. They have key partnerships with China Telecom, hundreds of millions of clients. DeFi protocol, platform Divorce, game platform Samurai. The trading volume increased because Binance announced that it would support Conflict's mainnet integration. Not surprising because, Changpeng Zhao is a very smart guy. And honestly, clearly, CFX, is a boom. It is cheap, right? And it's accepted by the Chinese and will be accepted by Binance Smart Chain. Also, I checked it's on KuCoin today as well. This is huge, right? It's one of my favorite stories at the moment. And this thing could go, seriously, seriously high. It is a great story. But anyway, look, overall, people, I am ultra bullish the cryptocurrency market. The Fed has just got it wrong. The Australians have got it wrong. Everyone rate rising has just got it wrong. They are not looking at the real picture. The consumer, the retail person like me and you, we're getting killed, absolutely killed. People can't even afford housing. Wages have not gone up by as much as inflation. Wages, the last wage measure went up at 4.2% and inflation's at 25%. And yet they keep using the interest rate mechanism to try and get inflation down. It's not working. It's the wrong mechanism. All you're going to do is put the whole world economy into depression, right? And then you'll have to start easing rates, reducing rates, and that will create the mega rally in these risk markets. And it's already started and it's happening right now. Anyway, guys and girls, that's enough for me. If you have any questions, please do come back to me. And thank you very much for listening.